Hi guys, glory to Jesus Christ. So, I know you probably think I've fallen off of the loop here. I'm sorry I haven't made a video in 2 days. I know I've got messages and comments and stuff to get back to, so I'm really do apologize for that, for being a huge flake monster. I'm not ignoring anybody. Don't have your feelings hurt. Please know that I'm not doing that, but I've been running around like a crazy person because, well, number one, because most of you think I'm crazy. Anyway, that's okay. Maybe I'm crazier than normal. Also, I've been running around because on Monday I've got to go to court again. I am testifying for one of the inmates that I met doing prison ministry several years ago, actually, who has a very, very, very interesting case, and I want to talk a little bit about that in this video, and also going to use that as a springboard to talk about the difference between, justice and corrections and this punishment-obsessed legal vengeance system. And how do we tell the one from the other? So essentially, this is a DUI case, but it's a third DUI case that involves a horrific automobile accident, a head-on collision on a major highway at very high speed. It is a miracle that nobody died in this accident. Truly a miracle. However, the inmate who caused the collision, he was under the influence of various drugs. I don't know if there was alcohol involved. I don't think there was. I believe it was heroin. I could be wrong about that, however. He's looking at actually not a very long jail sentence for this, if he does get sentenced to jail at all. But this is a situation where this whole incident happened years ago. And since that time, he has done the following, and I'm so proud of this kid. He has, by now, been clean for 2 years. He is a college student with a 4.0. He bought a car. He's current on the payments. He has a full-time job. And he has a house. He's living with family members, so that's a clean and sober house. Okay? That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. And so what I am praying happens is that the judge will take a look at that and say, all right, well, you did a bad thing, right? But since you did that bad thing, you've also acknowledged your problem, you have taken these steps to correct it, etc., etc. Now, I am just going to straight up ask the judge, because I can do that, I'm just going to straight up ask him to put this guy in probation. Because prison time, think about what prison time would do for a person in this situation. Okay? He's going to lose the car. He's going to lose all of his down payment on tuition in college. He's going to lose his job. And he's going to be around 24/7 drug addicts and drug dealers again. Now, this of course brings up the point, well, okay, but he did a really bad thing. Daria? What are you talking about, Daria? He did a really bad thing. And I say, yeah, I know he did. I know. And he knows he did too. And this is why this is tough. Because I can definitely put myself in the shoes of the victims and say, we were out for a Sunday drive, and then this happened, and I'm talking about one of the people involved in the accident was in a coma for a week. There were people who needed bone grafts, okay? I mean, we're talking about major injuries, not whiplash, okay? So I can understand from their perspective feeling that desire for some vengeance. It's not right. But I can see how they would feel that way. Now, why can I see that so well? Well, because I've been where they are. When I was 16 years old, my mother was almost killed by a driver who was drunk and or high off his gourd. My mother was driving this giant conversion van. I mean, the thing was like driving a house. And thank God for that. Because she was driving, on this country road, middle of nowhere, probably going about 50, and here comes, Bob in this panel van, driving about 75, blew through a stop sign, a stop light, and a sign that said, stop ahead, and smashed into her driver's side first. Okay, we're talking about a collision that was violent enough for her conversion van to go, rolling down the road like that. Glory to God, she broke almost every bone in her body. But glory to God, she's fine now. This was in, it was in the 90s. Several years after that, I myself was in a similar situation. I was almost killed in a car accident. Now, my injuries were not quite as severe as hers were. But when I stand before this judge on Monday, I'm going to tell him that. I'm just going to say, look, I understand what it is to be in a horrible automobile accident. I've been in them. I've had family members be in them. So I do have an understanding of this. But if we are really concerned with getting people sober, if we are really concerned with corrections, after all, we're calling this a correction system, okay? You can't force people to reform. You can't force people to be corrected. But here is somebody who has demonstrated that he is willing to work, that he is willing to pay the money to, for example, go to college, to make car payments. He's willing to, he has been submitting to random drug tests as part of his probation. He's 100% clean on all of those. He has demonstrated that he's willing to work hard and he's willing to work patiently and over time to meet his goals and to become an asset to society rather than a liability to society. And so I'm just going to straight up beg this judge, and I'm going to be like, look, please do not put him in prison, because if you do, guess what's going to happen? Guess what's likely to happen? He's going to be extremely tempted to go back to the old lifestyle. And that's no excuse, by the way. But I'm just hoping this judge is reasonable. Now, if I can be really candid here, candid on the internet, why not? Sure. I'm going to just be interested to see what happens as well. I don't want this person to go to prison. I will be very interested to see if the victims are there, if the victims have anything to say, and I'm going to be particularly interested to know what the judge has to say. Because, normally if you've ever been to court, before the judge imposes sentence, the judge will talk about why, they've arrived at whatever sentence they're arriving at. And that's fascinating to me. Regardless of what the sentence ultimately is, or if there is a sentence, is I want to know what his thoughts are and what his opinion is on how do you balance that? How do you balance somebody's awful crime with their sincere and demonstrated, multiple years of sobriety and trying to get better? How do you balance that? I'm sure as heck glad it's not my decision, because that's tough business. So, on Monday, fingers crossed, I will let you know how everything goes. And, until then, I'm just going to be praying super hard about it, because it's so refreshing and it's so nice to see someone who has a problem and who admits that they have a problem and who has turned to God for help with that problem, and to see how God is helping him make better decisions and has a demonstrated record of doing that for years now. And that's so exciting, and I'm hoping and praying, of course, ultimately that God's will be done. That's the only thing we can pray for, but I'm kind of also hoping that God's will turns out to be no prison time. But the ball is in, well, it's not in anyone's court except God's court, is it? But I have no idea what's going to happen. So that's where most of my energy has been for this past week. It's Saturday night now. It's about 9 p.m. and I've got a lot of catching up to do with the comments and the blogs and the internets. So I'm going to be getting back to that, and I may have another video to pump out tonight. I want to talk about solitary confinement, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen tonight or tomorrow. Anyway, thank you for slogging through this stream of consciousness with me. God bless you all. Thank you so much for subscribing, and please do, by the way, subscribe if you haven't, and click the like button too. Even if you're subscribed, it really helps to just click the like button on every video. It really just helps get, more people able to see the videos, that's all. It really helps. So thank you very much. God bless you all. I will pray for you, pray for me. That's the deal, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.